It's not your job to like me, it's mine, by Byron Katie. So what is self-love? In Psychology Today, there's an article that talks about self-love is appreciation of oneself through action, which supports our emotional, our physical, our spiritual, and our mental. And sometimes we don't embrace it. A lot of people don't talk about self-love. Self-love is not a common thing to talk about. They talk about, you should love yourself. Yes, we all should love ourselves. But what exactly is self-love? So a little bit about me. I grew up in Chicago. My parents are Mexican born, so it was a very strong work ethic. And I was never really taught about self-love. I really didn't know what self-love was. All I knew is that it was all about work, working hard, working every day, and providing for your family. And when I would ask, do my parents love me? It was like, of course I love you. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your belly, and you are going to school, and we are providing and taking care of you and giving you everything that you need. So that was my perception of what love was. Now, because we were in a working class, because my parents were working class, I learned that it was a struggle. Every day it was about making sure we just ate, make sure that the bills were paid, making sure that the kids were taken care of. But I never saw my parents invest time in themselves. I never saw my mom take a spa day. What is that? What's a spa day, right? So I never got to see that. And I was never taught the reality of what self-love is. Now, why is self-love so important? Because as you grow and as you become a woman, it's very important to understand that you have value and you have a lot of value to give. So that's why I wanted to bring this message to you today about self-love, because self-love is so important for us to understand and grasp. You have only one chance at this life. You don't have many chances at this life, right? So we got to see what are the chances that we have. Now, self-love, when you understand what real self-love is, you're going to understand that you can say no. You're going to understand confidence. You're going to understand boundaries. As a young woman, I didn't know any of that. Boundaries were crossed left and right all the time. It was just, I was always trying to conform to what people expected me to be. And that was not self-love. I didn't understand that. I thought that I had to do what everyone else is doing and make everyone else happy. But that's really not what self-love is. And that's the reason why it's so important for us to understand self-love, because you can avoid so many things. Once you understand self-love, you're going to avoid specific careers. You're going to avoid conversations. You're going to avoid specific relationships. You're going to avoid just different situations, and you're actually going to carry yourself very differently than if you didn't understand self-love. If I understood self-love early on when I was younger, I might have made different choices. I might have taken a different path, but I didn't. I had to learn through self-development, through personal development, and through life experience. I learned the hard way of really what self-love was. And the moment that I actually learned what self-love was, when it really hit me, was when I understood who I am and that there is a greater power out there, which to me, it's God. So when I understood that there is a being that's out there in the universe that's greater than me and has high expectations for me and loves me and cherishes me and cares for me, I really embraced that idea that, oh wow, someone else loves me. There's value. I have value to bring to people. And I know that I have a purpose in this universe. So I need to make sure that I take care of myself, not only by the way that I talk to people, right? If there's a conflict, I'm going to avoid responding in a certain way because I know that I value myself enough to not get into certain conflicts. I know that if I work and I work a 9 to 5 and I know that my employer's overworking me, I know that, guess what? I'm going to have to tell my boss that I cannot stay late again. I'm being overworked. But growing up, we're not told that. Women are not told, say no, learn how to say no. I didn't know how to say no. I had to keep my opinions to myself. Saying no was a big no-no. So you grow up saying, okay, I have to say yes to everything. I have to say yes to everything. And that's not the reality. You have the ability to say no. And that is really powerful for a woman, and especially in career, in marriage, in family, in relationships. There's a way that we carry ourselves, and we have to be wise. And what's the opposite of being foolish is being wise. So we have to be wiser in the choices that we make, in the way that we speak, in the way that we talk. So that's very important. That's why I'm bringing you the self-love. And guess what? There's going to be people out there that are going to say, you know, she thinks she's all that. She thinks, you know, she's conceited, she's vain, but this is way more than being vain. This is way more than being self-righteous. What this is a message of understanding that you have to love yourself and care for yourself. Because guess what? No one else is going to love you. No one else is going to love you. You're only going to love yourself. And when you start loving yourself and caring for yourself and setting that standard, and when you start setting that standard, people are going to also meet your expectation, and they're going to meet you at that standard. But first you have to love yourself to attract those type of conversations, those type of people, those type of jobs. You cannot do it if you don't love yourself first. And that's why it's so important to understand what self-love is. Thank you. I am Jennifer Sanchez.